Hey, I'm Amanda Wood here with Cody Jones in the press box to wrap up our Monday talks with Coach McElwain, running back Kelvin Taylor, and also Brian Poole. Now, Florida is going to Atlanta. It's official, but they have to refocus their attention on South Carolina, and we've seen what can happen whenever they have these distractions going on. So here's what running back Kelvin Taylor had to say.
Man, the season's not over, man. Everybody got to do their part, and everybody just have to focus on themselves and our team, and we're just going to keep building from this point on, and we're going to be hungrier and hungrier. I mean, people wasn't looking for us to go to Atlanta at all, so I'm sure once we get there, people are not going to be hoping for us to win as well. So.
Now, given what Kelvin Taylor had to say, how does this team need to refocus to get ready for South Carolina?
I think it's going to be a little challenge. This is a weird game. And like you said, Florida's already locked up the East. They know they're going to Atlanta. This game doesn't really mean a ton outside of the college football playoff perspective, but I think that's the way they have to look at this. You can hear the players talk about it too. They know that this still is an important game to them. They've kind of bought into this whole season, bring the Florida brand back to where it was a couple years ago. They want to make that happen, and I think winning a game like this is a big way to do it. They're still a heavy favorite as a South Carolina team that hasn't played all that well this season. They've been playing hard lately, but it's still a team that is desperate and it needs to win its last three of its last games to get to a bowl game. So with that on the line, I think you're going to see kind of a desperate South Carolina team. That's the way they played at Tennessee this past week, and it was a 3-point game. So this is going to be a challenge for Florida for sure. I think the biggest challenge is making sure they're as motivated as they possibly can be.
All right, now we're going to get to some injuries, but first here's an update from Coach McElwain on who is going to be doubtful and out this weekend.
You know, Joey Ivy will be out. Keanu Neal will be questionable with a foot. David Sharp will be day-to-day. He played obviously in the second half, not very effectively, yet he went in there and scrapped pretty good. But got to understand, part of this, guys, is you got to practice. That's probably that is on me. We got to make sure that these guys understand the importance of taking the reps during the week to prepare yourself to be successful on a Saturday. It's no different than anybody else in what they do in their job. It's about preparation. We've got to do a good job of that. John Bullard will not go today. He's probably doubtful. He's got an arm deal, so we'll see how that goes as the week goes on. Other than that, Martez is good. He's ready to go. He played really hard in that ball game. That's really it from the game.
Now they're also going to be without Jordan Sherritt through the first half, and Brian Poole said in the press conference that he's pretty confident that John Bullard is going to play this weekend. But given the news about Bullard, how critical is it for him to be healthy against South Carolina?
It's all about depth, and that's the big thing for them. He's been such an important playmaker for this defense, which losing that in itself I think would be a pretty big blow for that line. But they just need bodies more at this point. Like you said, Sherritt's out for the first half without Bullard in there. It's another guy that they've leaned on pretty heavily so far. So that's going to be the biggest challenge for them. The guys are going to have to play more snaps. The biggest guy, I think, being CeCe Jefferson. We've seen in spurts what he can do. He's going to get a shot, I think, on Saturday, really regardless, because even if Bullard does play, with it being doubtful here on Monday, it doesn't sound like they would probably give him a full number of reps. So Jefferson's going to have a chance, and I think he's going to have really a pretty big opportunity to show what he can do too, because he's had some plays here and there, and that's normal for a freshman. But when you get the number of reps he'll get on Saturday, I think he's going to be a guy they're going to have to count on quite a bit.
And Florida's got to take on a very tough South Carolina defense, who's highlighted by linebacker Sky Moore, who leads the team with 4 interceptions and 88 tackles. And Coach McElwain said that Treon Harris, he's done some good things, but he does have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, he's done some really good things, and he's done some things that continue need to work on. And the one thing I will say about him is he's doing some things to help us win ball games as well. This was the first game all year, really, where we were on the downside of the turnover part, and yet we, to win a game with 4 turnovers, man, that stuff doesn't happen. You got to have a little resolve, and I think our guys did that. And but it's a work in progress. But I think the thing everybody needs to know, this is a beauty, man. When you're the quarterback, everything is you're the greatest, or you know what, you're the issue of the world.
Now, given what Coach McElwain had to say about Treon Harris, what does he have to do this week to prepare and be successful against South Carolina?
I think he needs to be a little more accurate. There's no question about that. But he also, I think, just needs to have more time back there, because it didn't really matter what play they were calling on Saturday. There was defensive linemen, linebackers, basically in the backfield from the get-go. So I think that's the big challenge really for this entire offense, is to give him more time to open up more holes in the run game and kind of take some pressure off of him too. So that's a big part of it. I think you kind of seen what Treon Harris is at this point of the year, though. When he gets outside the pocket, certainly where he feels the most comfortable at, and he's able to make plays on the run and things like that. So I think that's what you'll see from him, but I think he needs to improve a little bit more from the pocket too. I think he was better than maybe the numbers would show on Saturday, just because that pass rush was always in his face. But I think you'll see a better game out of him, especially statistically, than we saw this past Saturday.
All right, well, there is much more coming up this week, and we'll have you covered for all of it right here, so don't go away. For Cody Jones, I'm Amanda Wood.